Hey, how's it going? I wanted to just give a little bit of a talk, a little conversation. And since I know I am going to be talking about a show, I am going to ask you to please look at my signs. So, I wrote a piece, and I'm going to link it. I should write it in front of me so I don't forget, even though it's only going to be like not very long that I'm at the end of this, and I'm going to be at the point where I could link it. Link piece. Oh, this pen is not good. There. Substack. All right. So I started writing it, and I talk about it in the piece, but not in great detail. But I was writing it, and I guess it was like a particularly bad day, just sort of out in the world, or for like the American landscape, the upcoming future one, I have to stress. Like, it's not going to happen tomorrow. Hold on. Oh, okay, there we go. I was just talking, thing wasn't recording. So, I was going to kick my cat out, but I decided I'm just going to let him stay, and I'm going to ignore him and see what he does. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I was writing this piece, and it was like a dark day, kind of, and all of a sudden I was like, I don't know if I want to introduce this into the world right now. Like, I don't know if I want to go further with this. So I stopped writing, and then I just kind of left it alone. And because it was not, like, I wrote it, on paper with a pen, I couldn't just be all delete. So I still had it. And then I just kind of wandered away from it and writing it all for like 11 days. It was 11 days between the day I started writing it and today when I finished it. But one of the things that I was talking about is feelings that I was having, or just like, please read it. But changes in myself, and just I'm kind of fascinated by what happened. I think that I'm having like one reaction, especially in regard to interacting with other people, and then when I go back and review whatever I wrote or said, it's like, oh, well, that wasn't bad at all. Like, no one found offense with it, including me. So, that's nice. And then there was some of this, like, ooh, I really feel like I should be doing this, that, or the other thing. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll do it. Like, I wasn't really motivated to. And the struggle between, like, oh, I'm supposed to do it, and wow, I don't really feel like doing it. Like, I don't feel like doing it, kind of won. And then I was waiting for myself to feel some kind of obligation behind that I wasn't living up to. And it just never happened. So that's a new change that I like that one. I have no problem, like, offloading that feeling. That's like a shackle. I didn't like it. So anyway, I have been spending more time just kind of, I have 2 new caregivers, and I hadn't had any for a couple of months, and the ones that left under, every time they leave, and it's just sudden, and the agency won't tell you why, and then they don't allow the caregiver is not supposed to talk to you after. And it's really weird, especially if you spend like 6 or more years with someone, and then all of a sudden you're just all snip. What part of my life that never exists anymore? And that's a weird feeling. So I have two new ones, and I'm really like, I just don't want to put too much into it, but um, both in their own way are like, I'm really glad I have them because like they both kind of challenge me. Just because one is like, we're similar but we're very different, and it's just a hold on. Wait, you know what? No, what am I doing? Do you see what I'm doing? No. Thank you. So anyway, I feel like it's worth it sometimes to when it's like easy to go ahead and engage with someone that in other situations you probably would avoid, let's say, or you just wouldn't have any reason to come into contact with, something like that. So I don't know, it's like, you know, what if you end up in an elevator that just there's a power outage and you're in there with someone for like 20 hours, you know, like, what are you gonna do? Like, eventually you're gonna have to go to the bathroom, you know, like, it's gonna get personal, I would imagine. So it's not that extreme, but there are similarities again. And then the other person is also very different, and a male, actually. Usually it's not a male. I've had one other male come, and even though it was many years ago, he made me hesitant to accept another male. And there's other reasons that have nothing to do with either guy. It's just like, it's my preferred state at home to not wear pants, and if it's a dude, I can't very well not wear pants. Especially this particular one, because he's very young. So I think it might be like just a generation gap, and coupled with like, I don't know how many like people of a race that he's had to deal with other than like Latinos, which is probably the most prevalent thing you'll see people wise on the West Coast of the United States. That's my experience, but I haven't been. I've been like as far east as Texas and Louisiana, which for some reason are south, but if you look at a map and you're in LA's here, and it's like, here's west, and here's the other two places, and that's east, but whatever. I'm no cartographer. So, what the hell was I saying? I just think that, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of quiet, and he's very, like, he's got, like, a really good temperament for the job, you know? You could let yourself out the window, honey. You know I'm doing something right now. How many times do I have to explain it to you? Go let yourself out of the window you came in. And, anyway, he did something that I really enjoy, and that is, I like to ride my little cycles. I know I've mentioned this, my bicycles and things. Or now they're all trikes, pretty much. Like, I have a two-wheeler, but I just feel safer on the three-wheeler. It's like, I can't read, okay. Anyway, you probably heard me mention that I like to go out and ride them. And so he asked me, do you mind if anyone comes with you? And I was like, I would love someone to come with me. Are you kidding? Because usually I have to do it like before they arrive or after, and that's not always good because now there's hot weather and you're already having to navigate around that. At least sometimes, not where I am. Like today, I think the high is 70 today, which is fine. That's like, if I were in LA, my favorite temperature. I love it. Anyway, I was like, yes, please, let's go. So he brought a skateboard, and then he's been coming with me to ride, and he, like, I guess he enjoys it himself too. But I think it's part of his job to make sure I get out of the house and get some fresh air. And if there can be exercise, I'm sure it's encouraged to encourage that. So we've been doing that, and it's been like really fun, you know, like having someone just, it's just fun to do that with, you know. Like I used to hang out with, you know, squads of bikers when I was in San Francisco, like bicycle messengers, and when I was a kid it was BMX bikes and skateboards, and it was like where I had the most fun, you know, like not just the doing of the, like, the riding or whatever, but also like just the hanging around, because there usually wasn't very many other girls. Like, if ever there'd be a girlfriend that would come hang out for a minute, and then they'd get bored and leave, because I liked to bike and skateboard, but they pretty much didn't. They just liked their boyfriends. So there were, like, I was usually the only girl, and so I loved it. And so after a while, they, like, forgot I was there, which I wasn't really thinking this at the time, but they would, you know, be more open around me after a while once they realized that I wasn't, I don't know, a threat, like, whatever it was. And it was just a very comfortable thing, and it was unusual, I think, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, it's fun to do that type of thing with other people. And then when you're not doing it and you're just kind of sitting around, like you get something to eat or drink and you're resting, or you just like watching everybody else do stuff for a while, like whatever it is, there's times when you're just hanging out, and that was fun and that was cool. So it feels nice to, it's not quite the same thing, but it's more of it than I've had in a long while, so I was enjoying that. And that's, I guess I'm talking about communication here and having it go well, and I think it's time to share the information that you can get along with the people you absolutely think you can't get along with. I promise you it can be done, but I think the reason why it works for me is because I'm not, like, advertising allegiance to things for people to, like, find, you know, a fault with or have a problem with. I know where I am, there's a lot of people, like, you can see the signage and the flags and the decals on the cars, all, like, up and down this street that I live on, but less so inside the neighborhood, which is comforting because I'm in there all the time riding around. So there's a big presence of people whose politics I don't share. And yet, every one of them that I've dealt with has been perfectly fine. Just nice and neighborly, and I don't know if it's just the difference between California and Washington State, which is, oops, that's where I am. But there is a difference in that too. Used to be more so. I don't know if it's the infiltration of people coming from out of town to here, or just like sort of a change in the way we are. God, my cat, he wouldn't let me meditate. He's out there meowing. I wish he would just let me have a moment. So anyway, we're on communication. Like, that's what I'm trying to communicate. And so one thing I was doing when I kind of unplugged, I guess, and it happened like when I stopped writing that piece, I just kind of stopped doing everything except for, like, you know, a video, which I'm going to do. I hope it's going to be like a shorter one. I don't know why. I guess I just want to be finished. But and my writing, and so, but not like a lot. Like I could be doing it every day, and I wasn't. And it's fine, you know. At another time, I would have been like feeling, oh my god, I got to be doing something, but it's like I turned out to be just fine doing the minimum. And so what I was doing instead, like I had sort of been trying to do less like social media time, like just spending time doing it. And then also like, or my alternative thing to do is to watch a show. And several shows, or a few shows that I always return to, make me feel good when I watch them. Like they just change my whole vibe. If I'm sort of angsty, listen, I don't know why this is, because Enterprise and Deep Space Nine are not like happy, uplifting. They have a dark side, but I love both of those shows. And once I put them on, like, I don't know what it is. And you might be thinking, but it's the digital stimuli and it's programming. True, but I'm aware that that's what's happening. There's also the artistry of the creators. And even on top of that, it might be dark and it might be kind of negative, whatever you're looking at, but embedded in there throughout, there's still messages, insertions from like agents of the light, let's say. You know, there's always something, even if it's just a phrase, that is something positive that's going to kick off something in you. If you're like a fertile field for it, for the seed to grow in you, in your consciousness. And I always look for those, but you know, Star Trek is generally a good place to find that. It has like an upbeat arc. And then also Stargate, that series, same thing, especially SG-1. So I'm watching Strange New Worlds, rewatching, like, I think I was in the second season, and it has young Uhura, right? So she starts hearing this noise, and she doesn't realize what it is at first, but it's coming to her. And I love the way they did this, because this is like the way Spirit will send you messages, like through some influence upon like somebody responsible for the creation of whatever, like the writers or something. So she's getting these, they're not transmissions coming over her headset. I think she was just getting them like psychically, like, you know, mentally sensoral without equipment, and that was freaking her out. And it was making her more and more agitated. And I had seen it, of course, but it's been so long since that debuted that I don't remember all of the details, you know. And you know everything's always going to work out okay. And so the anxiety for me is just not that real. But it was acting like a disease of a type, and it turned out to be language. And I think the way they showed it, her starting to understand what was happening, and understanding that she could interpret what she was hearing, it made me think of like when you're having your awakening, you know, and you're learning how to receive messages from Spirit, and it made me think of like when your ear rings. And I read somewhere that ear ringing is like the angelic realm trying to speak to you, or I guess pretty much anyone from the other side of the veil could have that same effect, from what I've been learning. And I thought, as I watched her learn to interpret and decipher the sound she was hearing, and it was like this whole message, and it was becoming more and more dire, and only a couple of people were sort of properly attuned to hear it and then understand that it was saying something to you, that it was not just like pain and weird, because I guess it hurt a little bit at first or something, and even that is like, it's like, it seemed like it was painful when I saw Uhura first start to hear this sound. She was like wincing and grimacing a little bit. And, oh my god, I just thought of that episode of the Venture Brothers with that weird guy from another dimension. Oh, ignore me! And he's really loud, just yelling. It was actually kind of a similar sound. But you could fully hear words from that guy. But there's also like an interference that was similar. So if you know these shows and these episodes, then if you know, you know. You should watch the Venture Brothers, though. It's hilarious. Where was I? Oh, so anyway, like I'm watching her learn to interpret these sounds, and I'm like, oh, that's like us awakeners trying to learn how to hear like angels and guides speaking to us, if it's through ear ringing or some other symptom that happens. And then, needless to say, everybody's different. Like, everybody's going to receive differently at a different level and blah, blah, blah. But I just thought that was like another one of those insertions that may not have been like a conscious thing on the writer's part, but through my filter, what I'm seeing is like some perhaps E.T. or angelic form just sort of whispered in some writer's ear, like, this is, just add this detail or add these details, and then like I said, for the people attuned to hear it, they're gonna catch that message, like in the midst of all of the noise and actual static of the thing on the show, but also of just like the reality of being awake in the world, or awakening to the idea that like, oh my god, all of this stuff is like literally talking to me. Like I just haven't like learned how to plug into each sort of destination to get the broadcast. Yeah, I guess destination works. So, thank you. But, yeah. And then I just felt like, I'm just gonna share that with people, because I think it's awesome. One more little tumbler tumbled, in unlocking the puzzle. I think I'm done. It's a holiday today. It's Independence Day in the United States. The ironically named Independence Day in the United States these days. Thank you and good night.